TD Ameritrade study, singles make on average about $8,000 less a year and pay more on everyday things like housing and cell phone bills. For single women, the cost is even higher. The skim found that unmarried women need 65% of a dual income household to maintain the same lifestyle as a married couple. Women make 84 cents for every dollar men earn, which could explain the bigger impact on women's pockets. As Vox reports, in the U.S., marriage still holds a lot of economic advantages. Retirement accounts, Social Security, health insurance, and taxes all play a part.
All right. Well, welcome in, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Let's get this conversation going here tonight. Welcome in to the show. I am your host, KTJ, Kelvin Troy Johnson, former men's counselor turned love coach. I was a men's counselor for 17 years, so I bring all of that here to this conversation. And tonight we're talking about it. Can you afford to be single? Can you even afford to be single? So I need everybody to go ahead and like this video, hit that subscribe button. If this is your first time in, welcome in. We do something different over here because I'm not on the men's side. I'm not on the women's side. I'm on everybody's side. We're going to stop this arguing and the conflict and learn how to work together, because you're going to see through this show how important it is for us to come together and work together, because it's going to get tight out here, y'all. So I got a couple of videos. I got some things for you guys to check out. I got some content here, and I've got some answers as to how you can find the quality of mate that you're looking for. I saw something. I'm gonna get into this video in a second, but I saw something, you guys. I saw a conversation online, and a guy was saying that, women can't find a good man because, they're just choosing not to find the one, like whatever it is, they just not taking anybody. And I said, that's not the issue. It was being single by choice. I said they're single by choice because they haven't found the quality of man who also wants them. See, we're not doing the pandering over here. We're telling the truth over here. So I want to help you find the quality of man. And for the guys, I want to help you to find the quality of woman that you need for your life. So let's check out this video right here. This lady's spitting some good game, and I want you guys to get it. Check it out.
So while single life might seem like a money-saving adventure, we now know that it can be the opposite. Single life, it sounds like a money saver, just you, your bills, and a simpler budget. But being single can actually be more expensive than you think. According to a TD Ameritrade study, singles make on average about $8,000 less a year and pay more on everyday things like housing and cell phone bills. For single women, the cost is even higher. The skim found that unmarried women need 65% of a dual income household to maintain the same lifestyle as a married couple. Women make 84 cents for every dollar men earn, which could explain the bigger impact on women's pockets. As Vox reports, in the U.S., marriage still holds a lot of economic advantages. Retirement accounts, Social Security, health insurance, and taxes all play a part. So while single life might seem like a money-saving adventure, we now know that it can be the opposite. Single life, it sounds like a money saver, just you.
So this is where I'm going with this conversation tonight. I'm going at this conversation whereas I want to help you to find love, because we can see economically it actually helps you, and you're more you'll succeed further with a partner. You're going to do more together than you can by yourself. There's a lot of conversation out there on the men's side. There's a lot of conversations that are talking about being anti-marriage, right? And I'm telling you, you can do more with a partner than you can by yourself. And even with the ladies talking about, all of this single by choice and all of this, listen, you're not going to find a perfect package. Why? Because you are not a perfect package. All right. So let's dig a little deeper into this here, because I found some interesting thoughts. I want you guys to check out this video. Now I'm gonna chop this up right here because spitting some good game, and I want you to get it, and we'll break it down slowly. Let's go.
The first reason that being single is becoming an unaffordable luxury is the easiest to understand. When you are all by yourself, you can't share certain expenses with another person. The cost of housing, furniture, appliances, fuel, insurance, subscriptions, and utilities is higher for a couple versus a single person, but it's not doable. There are certain expenses that can be shared with co-living arrangements, like having roommates or hosting paying visitors using platforms like Airbnb, but these arrangements still can't make up for the financial disadvantage of being single. Sharing accommodations with a roommate is not as stable as sharing it with a partner. Every time a roommate moves out of a house, they will take their share of furniture and appliances, which may need to be repurchased, even if someone new has moved in to replace their share of the rent. Roommates also can't be used to share expenses as broadly as a partner. Apart from eccentric tech bros like Sam Bankman-Fried, most people wouldn't feel comfortable sharing certain amenities like a bedroom with a whole bunch of random people that they are not romantically involved with. Although, having lived in San Francisco for these past 2 years, I've considered it. Let us not also...
All right. So let's talk about that. So some of the ways that people are talking about saving money, having resources, having things together is through getting a partner, getting a roommate, right? Somebody's going to say, you know what? It's easier to get a roommate. I don't have to listen to them. They don't have to tell me what time to come home. I can go and do and be, and I don't have to worry about it. But this video right here breaks down that angle of letting you see really, look, yeah. Well, you might save some money on this end, but they are unstable. And let me tell you something. There is nothing worse than being with an unstable person. There's nothing worse than having an unstable partner, somebody that you don't know if they're going to come through. You don't know if they're going to come home. You don't know if they're serious, right? And then all your stuff is all the places in your name, the utilities are in your name. So it might sound like I could just put somebody in I could just Airbnb this space out. Well, it might not be that easy. Check it out.
Don't forget that having roommates is not exclusively for singles either. A lot of shared houses split up the rent on a per room basis, which means that a couple could benefit from only paying a share of a total rent for the place they live. The savings that can be had by being able to split up expenses between two people are especially important for lower income earners, where the difference can be truly shocking. To see this, we need look no further than the Department of Health and Human Services' own guidelines. The poverty guideline for...
All right, hold on. Before we get into that, so you guys, if you're just getting here to this evening, welcome on in. And the conversation we're having tonight is, can you afford to be single? Right. So there's a lot of things for you to consider when you're out here in this single world. You have to consider who's going to look out for you. I saw a woman today go into the emergency room. She's like, I happened to talk to her, struck up a conversation. She said, I'm sick. She said, I've been coughing, and I've got this burning thing in my chest, and I've got this. And I was looking around. I said, well, who's going to the hospital? Somebody going to the hospital? She said, no, I'm going to call Uber. And she called Uber, and Uber took her on to the hospital. And I guess she went to urgent care, right? She went there by herself. And it was obvious that she went there by herself because she didn't have anybody to go with her. She didn't have a husband. She didn't have a boyfriend, significant other who she could rely on, right? And so while we're doing all this big talk out here, this is for the men and for the women. While we're doing all this big talk out here, you better consider what happens if you get sick. Who's going to care for you? What happens if something happens in your family and you need somebody to be stand in the gap for you, somebody to speak for you, right? All these things. Now, these things are important too, because you have to consider if you can't speak for yourself, do you have someone in your life who can speak for you? If you can't give the directives of what should happen in your life, do you have someone in your life who can speak for you? Right? Now, something that I've noticed, people are starting to figure this out, that, you know what, being single is not all it's cracked up to be. We saw Tia Mowry. She came out here and she said she graduated from her marriage, and she came out here and realized, I thought there would be plenty of opportunities and people and suitors and people lining up to date me. And did she realize it's not? It's not the world that you lived in before. And so I think you have to just think these things through, right? As you're considering your future. As at the time of this video right now, we're going towards the end of the year, right? This is the time to reevaluate what's going on in your life. Do you have people in your life that you can depend on, that you can call on? Is there somebody that can speak for you, and somebody who can speak well for you, somebody you can depend on? All right, so let's keep going on this. Let's check out this poverty guideline. This is kind of deep, y'all. So check it out. I want y'all to pay attention to this. All right, here we go.
For a household with one person is an after-tax income of $13,590. But for a household with two people, it is $18,310, which is only 35% higher than the income of a single person. These are the guidelines that the federal government uses to determine the eligibility for certain assistance programs, and what they have worked out is that to keep a couple out of poverty only costs 35% more than it does to keep a single person out of poverty. If both people in a relationship are working and earn comparable incomes, the ability of each party in that relationship to save money or spend frivolously increases by a big margin. You probably already knew that finding a special someone could help you save money, but what you might not have known is that it could also help you earn significantly more money as well, or maybe a lot less, but we'll get into that later.
All right. Truth or false? Y'all tell me truth or false. What do y'all think about that? Having that significant other in your life can add value or take value away. So how can it add value? Okay. Whatever it is that you're passionate about. And this is the questions, you guys, that I ask some of the people who come to me for advice. They'll say, Kel, matter of fact, this happened last night. I hosted an event here in Atlanta. Somebody came to me. They were like, Kel, what is your thoughts on finding a mate and the coming together of a mate? Here's what I said. I said, there's two ways to look at having a mate. I asked the question, do you want a mate that you guys work in tandem together? Meaning y'all have a business, you wake up, you guys go to your separate places in the business, and then you come home and have dinner and live together in that kind of way. Or do you guys live, work separately, go off, do your own thing, and then come back home at the end of the night and share love and share a household and do things that way? Which one do you want? Right? Here's what I know, you guys. Most people have never had this conversation. Most people never really thought about what kind of lifestyle they want with their mate, right? Because there's upsides and downsides to both sides. The upside of working and living in tandem with your mate is you guys are more likely to build the kingdom that you were hoping for, right? You're on one accord. Boom, you're working together, thinking about the same things, on the same track, and it works, right? But what's the downside of that? The downside is you can't turn it off. The downside is you start only talking about the business and there's no talk about the relationship. So the balance becomes off, and you can become more of a business person. It was one of those makeover shows. I can't remember which makeover show it was. But the couple used to work together, and they were married and they worked together, and then they end up getting divorced because they worked together and they were around each other all the time. So the working in tandem could work, or sometimes it doesn't work. But also working separately can work, right? Because you're looking forward to coming back at the end of the night. Or it could not work because you guys are off doing your own things. Your mind is someplace else, and that becomes the focal point of your life. So yes, it can work either way, but it's a conversation that you need to have with your mate. Let's catch a little bit more of this, and then we're gonna move on. I got more content here that I want to share with you guys tonight. Here we go.
The National Longitudinal Survey of Youth, or simply the NLSY, is a project run by the Bureau of Labor Statistics that tracks the financial status of 12,686 people over their lives. If that sounds like a bit Big Brother to you, don't worry. The people being studied did volunteer. The NLSY group that started being tracked in 1979 has shown that married men earn on average 44% more than men who are not married. This difference is even larger than the difference between men who did or did not get a college degree. People who have researched this trend have ultimately come up with 4 possible explanations.
All right, I want y'all to pay attention to these 4 observations. It said men who are married make 44% more money than men who are not. Let me make sure I understood what that guy just said. Yeah, let's catch that again.
Group that started being tracked in 1979 has shown that married men earn on average 44% more than men who are not married.
How about that? How about that, y'all? How about that? I want to hear some folks talking about that. That 44 men who are married make 44% more money in their life than guys that are single and unmarried. Here we go.
Difference is even larger than the difference between men who did or did not get a college degree. People who have researched this trend have ultimately come up with 4 possible explanations. The first is simple sample bias, in that men who earn more are more likely to attract a partner and be able to pay for a wedding, which on average now can cost over $20,000, not including the engagement ring or traditional honeymoon. The second explanation is similar to the first, except that it doesn't require men to be wealthy to begin with. It instead suggests that men with more Puritan attitudes are both more likely to get married and work diligently in their careers.
All right, so wait a minute. So essentially, what they're saying is men who get married, who marry a partner, it creates stability. A man with a wife is seen as stable. He's seen as solid, and he's more likely to increase his income. Interesting, right? Let's keep going.
Making more money than their casual peers who don't care about traditional values like marriage and never calling in sick. The third explanation is that men who get married just become better workers. This explanation argues that marriage makes men work more hours, strive for promotions, and take on more demanding jobs. It's theorized that men who get married will do this out of instinct to provide for their partner and their family, or maybe they are just willing to work longer hours because they want to avoid the wife and kids.
Well, it's probably a little bit of both. Look, it's probably, let's be honest, it's probably a little bit of both. You know, because being married, having a family, having a wife and kids, and knowing that you got to come up with some money, it does stay in your mind and make you want to just work a little bit longer, a little bit harder, always looking for another opportunity, another possibility, another income stream. Yeah, so there's some truth there.
This theory also postulates that it's easier for married men to be better workers, especially in extremely demanding and high-paying fields like law, medicine, or finance, because they can depend on their partner to cover domestic duties like cooking, cleaning, and running a house that would distract someone who is single from focusing on their work. The final explanation is that employers somehow preferred married men to single men.
Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch that? For all you guys that's looking to go up the ladder, you guys that are looking to increase your stance out here, did y'all catch that? I'm gonna run it back for you so you can watch it again. I'm gonna let you catch it again.
And running a house that would distract someone who is single from focusing on their work. The final explanation is that employers somehow preferred married men to single men. It's illegal to ask about marital status in a job interview, and it's definitely illegal to hire someone based on whether they are married or not. If they did, the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission could give them a very big fine. However, there are still benefits to be had in the workplace for a married man. Once someone is hired, their employers will find out if they are married or not, either through paperwork or even just casual conversations, and that's where the benefits start. It's possible that married men are seen as more mature, because marriage is a natural goal that is achieved by people going through life in a quote-unquote traditional way. Being perceived as more mature means these men are subconsciously considered above single men for promotions and other career opportunities.
Let's stop there for a minute. So married guys are seen as more stable and more likely to get the positions. Why? Because they're seen as you know that they're going to show up. I thought that was pretty interesting that employers would actually be looking out and trying to see if you're married, because they know you're not going to be calling off work and showing up late and all those sort of things. Why? Because you need the job. You need that money, so you're more likely to show up. All right, let's go.
Considered above single men for promotions and other career opportunities.
But isn't that something though? Married men are considered higher than single men for promotions. Just promotions. Isn't that something? Hey, Adrian. Yes. This is something. This is a good reason. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of conversations online with men telling other men not to get married, telling men to avoid marriage. But being married is actually to your benefit. Let's go.
Opportunities. Married men are also viewed as less likely to unexpectedly quit their job because they have a family to look after,
right.
Whereas single men can jump around because they don't have the same responsibilities, despite no research suggesting this is actually the case. Married men can also be treated better than single men during periods of downsizing or restructuring. Managers are more likely to want to hold on to the married man with the family to support than they are to hold on to the single man who can land on their feet. The truth.
Let's be honest about that. Is that true or false? Could y'all see that being true or false? You got to fire two people. Two people got to go. You got a married guy and you got a single guy. Married guy's got bills. He got a mortgage. He's got a house. He got kids that go to school. Kids got to have private school. Got to have kids in college. Or you got a single guy who doesn't have a wife, doesn't have a family, who could probably just get another job any old time. Who are you more likely to let go? More likely to let go that guy who's got nothing to lose. He can go get another job, but the family guy is going to be more difficult. Let's keep going.
Truth is, the 44% that married men earn over single men is probably due to a little bit of all of these theories. Now, if you are wondering why I've only been talking about men so far, it's because the NLSY study found that married women earn 10% less than single women. The difference is not because married women are more likely to stop working and become stay-at-home wives. The study actually accounted for that and found the 10% drop in income based on comparable women who worked similar hours. The explanation for why married women earn less than single women is therefore some combination of the same reasons that married men earn more, probably with a heavy weighting on employers preferring.
Yeah, probably because they work there. They're willing to work longer, willing to work harder, willing to scrape up the ladder. But to only make 10% more than a woman that's married, good trade-off. Let's keep going.
Single women because they are perceived as less likely to quit and start a family. It's not right, it shouldn't happen, but we all know that it does. All right, before I start a big fight in the comment section about gender equality, the point is that even though married women earn less, the total earnings for a traditional married couple are significantly higher than the earnings for an average single person. If you are curious about married gay couples, the answer is unfortunately, we don't know. Gay marriage only became legal in 2015, and the study tracks 12,686 people.
All right. So this is an interesting study here. And I think this is a conversation that we have to have. We have to have these conversations because while there's a lot of women who are, maybe the married woman earns 10% less, she's probably a whole lot happier overall because she's working together. They make 44% more than single people. So there's definitely that. So let's talk about why it's so expensive. I found this great article here. Let's talk about this for a minute here. Housing costs. While maintaining a one-person household is cheaper in terms of cost of groceries, it can be more expensive in other ways. Maintaining a single-person household still costs more than 50% of a two-person household. Housing costs. There's some houses we were looking at maybe moving closer into the city, and this one popular area called Atlantic Station, they wanted $3,000 a month and $900 HOA fee. HOA a month. $900 a month for HOA. Crazy. Just ridiculous. But that's the world we living in. So, housing costs. Taxes. Married couples have income tax advantages that don't exist for single individuals. I remember that very well. We got those marriage benefits. We got the family. I remember when I think that might have been, I can't remember which one of the presidents came in with that, and that was really good to have. Let's see if we can keep going on this. And this one, here's why. No financial safety net. No financial safety net is the reason it's better to be. This is the high cost of being single. 3 reasons. This is the 3 reasons it's so expensive to be single in America. Housing, taxes, and no financial safety net. One other reason that is more difficult financially for singles is that there's no financial safety net for a spouse or from a spouse or partner. You might be fortunate to have family members who can afford to help you out should a job loss or money issue, but otherwise you're likely going to be on your own. I'm telling y'all, it's real. It's real out here. And this is something that we have to pay attention to in these streets. And so I got something else here that I want to share with you guys that I think is important. Because if we're going to talk about the cost of being married, let's talk about it. Where are you actually going to find somebody? Where you going to find somebody? Now, of course, you guys know, maybe you don't know, maybe you know, I host live events here in Atlanta. Hosted one last night, and it was a fun time. People got to meet and greet, and I don't know if people exchanged phone numbers and all that, but this is getting into the best places to find a mate. I'm encouraging you to find a mate. Here's a couple. School's a great one if you're still in college. Listen to this. For the ladies, I want to tell you something real quick. For the ladies, it's still a thing. Once upon a time, all the old school ladies used to say, go to school, send their daughters to school, say go to school and get your BA and get your MRS. Why? Because the pool of quality of men that you want to marry, they're at the university when you're there, right? And you'll never find that quality of pool again for most of your life. So consider it. Consider it. Pay attention and consider it. Going to work. Is work still a good place to find a mate? I don't. If they work in the same building, okay. But do not date. Do not find a mate at the place where you work. Grandma had a saying, don't eat where you boo-boo. Y'all know what I'm saying. Because that could be bad. Online dating, definitely. If you're not doing online dating, you're not really serious about finding love and finding a mate. Through friends, partying at a bar, there are, if you live in a major city, there's lounges, there's all kind of meetups. As a matter of fact, I'm not doing an endorsement for them tonight, but meetup.com, I host my meetups through meetup.com. Type that in there and find whatever you like. I don't know what you're into. If you're into theater, if you're into the arts, if you're into, I don't know what you're into. If you just like wine and like to go meet people, there are all kinds of meetups going on every day. So meetup.com is a great place to meet people. Through family, at church, at the gym. I like those. At restaurants. Don't be afraid to take yourself out on a date. Listen, don't be afraid to take yourself out. Sometimes people don't go out because they say, I can't find nobody to go with me. I don't have anybody who wants to hang out with me and go with me out. And I don't want to go by myself. Look, go by yourself. Plan some trips alone, some solo trips. Stop waiting for somebody else to show up for your life before you show up for your life. All right. All right. So this is a real thing. You are better off having a mate. You're better off having someone in your life. You're better off not being alone than being alone. And I'm telling you, it's worth it for you to find the quality of mate that you are looking for. All right. I want you guys to win out here in these streets. I want you to find the love that you're looking for. But I want to tell you, start with yourself. Find the love in yourself. Work on yourself. Work on your fitness, your mentality, your spiritual life, your physical life. So that when the person who's right for you comes into your life, boom, y'all can go up. And it's not a struggle for a successful relationship. All right. All right, you guys, thank y'all so much for being here. Look, hit that like button and then hit the subscribe button on your way out of here. We'll see you next time. Peace.